everyone. I am Margo Lindauer. I am an advocate, professor, current colleague of Leslie's, and I have the honorable distinction of being Leslie's former professor and the MC for today's event. I want us all to take a moment, close our eyes, and think about what made our ancestors want to come to America. And what makes all of us here today want to call this country home. A home that we all want to live in, and a country that we all want to be part of. Por favor, toma un momento, cierren los ojos y piensen en un país en que queremos vivir. A country founded on pillars of kindness, hard work, and community care. Values that Herman Elias Escobar, lovingly called Hernan, lives every day. A country where we believe in families that are founded on love and fidelity. A truth embodied by Hernan and Leslie. They both commit not only to each other, but to fighting for their neighbors and those less fortunate every single day. Los dos se comprometen a sí mismos y luchar por sus vecinos. This is Hernan, the man who lays shingle by shingle to literally put the roofs over our heads and in our homes. He who has made homes for us and our communities, and with Leslie, their dog Albert, and their extended family, has made our community his home. This is Hernan, a man who loves all living things, who tends to his family, including daily responsibilities for fur babies, elders, and all, and whose kindness is more abundant and stronger than all of the hollow voices of hatred echoing through our communities. Su benevolencia es más fuerte que las voces de odio. What happened to Hernan and Leslie last Wednesday does not just contradict the country we want, it actively destroys it. What does it say when the government uses our tax dollars to stage a show of violent force? In the wee hours of the morning, a dedicated member of our community, Hernan, was yanked from his car by masked men without a warrant and no ID. His window shattered as he tried to make his way to work. What does it say when our tax money is now caging a man who poses zero risk of flight or danger? What does it say when our government is targeting a person with deep community ties, working through our legal process and sharing a genuine love so tender for almost a decade for an American citizen? What does this say about all of us? This is not justice. It's cruelty. Hernan was not hiding. He poses no danger. He is actively a part of all of us. Él está parte de todos nosotros. No está escondiendo. Esto no es justicia, es crueldad. This is not ridding this country of danger. This is dangerous. Esto es peligroso. This policy is destroying our communities family by family and making a mockery of our system. It is disingenuous, and we all must stand together and say enough. Basta. Release Hernan today, not tomorrow, today. Libera Hernan hoy, no mañana, hoy. Please join the fight for the America, the country we want to believe in and all want to live in.
Oi! Oh, Mariana, oi!
Thank you. I'd like to now introduce Ashley Popperson, Associate Minister at Old South Church in Boston, to lead us in an opening.
Good morning. My name is Ashley Popperson, and I'm an associate minister at Old South Church in Boston, where Hernan's friend Amelia works. Last Wednesday, I was making coffee while my toddler played in our living room when my phone rang around 7 a.m. It was Amelia, letting me know that one of their friends had been kidnapped by ICE and was in the emergency room. I handed my toddler off to my wife and drove to Melrose Wakefield Hospital. As I got off the elevator, they let me know that I had just missed him. ICE had snuck Hernan out the back of the hospital and was taking him to the offices in Burlington. We loaded up our cars and drove from Wakefield to Burlington. There, these faithful friends, these wise lawyers got to work. They petitioned to see Hernan, began to strategize. There happened to be a rally outside of the offices that day, and soon enough, we were accompanied by about 100 people calling for justice with and for our immigrant siblings, those already detained and those living in fear that the next black car they see will be the one to whisk them away. Here's what I know. I know that while I cannot imagine the terror that he felt, I know that there was not a moment that he was alone. Not really. Though the authorities did all they could to keep him separate from his community, they could not get in the way of the love that this community has for one another. They do not have that kind of authority. That day and every day since, there has not been a moment that Hernan was truly alone, because this community has shown up for him. There has not been a moment that he was not held in the arms of love, because this community has fought for him. My faith tells me this. There is nowhere that we can go that God's love does not find us. There is no power on this earth that can separate us from the love of God. No height, no depth, no power or principality, no detention cell, no amount of broken glass or broken systems. Nothing can separate us from the love of God, and that love makes us powerful. There is something inside each and every one of us that is untouchable, unconquerable. The very love of God right at the heart of each and every one of us. Each and every one of us, beloved. That love will sustain us as we labor for justice. That love will hold us up when everything else tells us to give up. That love will bind us together with those we love who have been taken from us. My faith also tells me this, that the powers of empire never win. That the death-dealing forces that sow chaos, that say some lives matter more than others, that say some people belong and others don't, those powers will not win. They may from time to time seem like they have the upper hand, but they will not win. They will not win. Beloved ones, in just a moment, we will join together in a moment of silence. In that time of silence, pay attention to your breath. And with each inhale, breathe in the love that surrounds you here. And with every exhale, send that love onto Hernan and to all of our kin who are detained. We pause now to ground ourselves in a love stronger than any violence, and to send that love out to Hernan that he might feel it and be strengthened. We send that love out now. Amen.
And now I'd like to introduce Leslie Belela Gonzalez.
Yeah!
I just want to say thank you to everyone that's here today. And good morning. And I'm sorry that this is disruptive to your daily lives. What can I put louder?
Put it like right against your face.
I want to say thank you to everyone who's here today. Okay. I'm trying to memorize everyone that's here so that I can tell him when I talk to him later today. He would be so embarrassed to be part of the spotlight, But he's going to feel so loved, so supportive. He is so grateful, as am I. I am so, so grateful for all of you here, for everyone that has held me, has given me food, placed something in my hand. I'm so appreciative of all of you. To those that aren't here, that maybe are not so supportive, just want to say you're being told so many different narratives every day, and I understand you have no reason to believe or even listen to my story. But if a part of you is curious or desperate or wanting to know if he was a person that deserved this, I can tell you what kind of a man my husband is. My husband did many things for me and for others on a daily basis. When my best friend and sisters would stay over at my apartment, he would take the couch so us girls could take the bed. And we would marinate all day on the couch watching TLC. He would quietly in the background make us breakfast and lunch and whatever we wanted. My husband believes that a good deed is done in silence. So it's hard to talk about all the good things he does. Just want to say thank you. And Albert is so grateful. If you've met Albert, you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got you, girl.
I'd now like to welcome members of the Greater Boston Labor Council, President Darlene Lombos and Shaitan Green. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Darlene Lombos. I'm the president of the Greater Boston Labor Council. We represent over 100,000 union members and their families here in Greater Boston. I didn't know that this was going to be so emotional. Well, we're here. We just wanted to say here today that the labor movement is here with you. Leslie, you are part of our union family, and our family sticks together. We fight for each other. We stand in solidarity together. This is what we believe the labor movement is. And I just want to, we're in this fight with you. I'm sorry. I'm angry. I'm angry about what has happened. I was going to say some nice things. I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to, this is who we are. We are the labor movement. So when I say union, you say power. Union. Power. Union. Power. When I say justice, you say now. Justice. Now. Justice. Now. When I say fight, you say win. Fight. Win. Fight. Win. Fight. Win. We're going to stand by you, your union sister. And we're going to stand by right here fighting until Hernan comes back. And we want it now. We demand it now. I'm going to turn it over to Todd.
Thank you, Darlene. She is a wonderful leader, and we need her leadership right now more than ever today. My name is Shaton Green. I'm a business agent with the Boston Building Trades Unions. We represent over 35,000 working men and women around Boston, but thousands of members who live right here in this community. We are here today not just as union members, but as defenders of dignity, justice, and human rights. We stand in full solidarity with Brother Hernan, who was ripped from his community, his family, not because he broke any law, but because a broken system targets the most vulnerable among us. Right. Let's be clear, Hernan is not just a name. He is a father, he is a husband. He is part of the fabric that holds our communities together. When ICE comes for one of us, they come for all of us. An attack on one is an attack on the entire community, and we will not stand by or be silent. Unions were built on the power of collective action. It's not about union and non-union. It's about fighting for what's right. And today we use that collective power to say Hernan must be released. His rights must be respected. His dignity must be upheld. We demand due process. We demand due process, and we will not back down until Hernan and anyone in similar situations like him is free. Thank you.
I also just wanted to recognize Baird House and the Mass AFL-CIO represents over almost 1 million members in Massachusetts. Just want to recognize Darren, DC 35, DC 35. My union, just want to recognize them. I know the Malden Education Association is here as well. Thank you for being here. I am very proud to introduce the next person. Really, our labor champion here in the city of Malden. He's been incredible for our union members and their families. Anytime we call, he's always answering. And I just want you all to know that he stands in solidarity with all of us here, and we will always stand in solidarity with our mayor here in Malden, Harry Christensen.
Good morning.
Morning.
As mayor, I want to state that our community is strongest when families are together, when neighbors feel safe, and when the path to legal status is respected. While immigration law is complex and federal authorities do have jurisdiction, we cannot ignore the human impact of their actions. Hernan's detention is not just a legal issue, but rather it's a family's heartbreak and a reminder of the challenges faced by so many who call this country home. I pledge to support Leslie, Hernan's loved ones, and all residents who are navigating these difficult circumstances. We will continue to connect families with resources, advocate for fair treatment, and stand firm in our commitment to dignity and compassion for every member of our city. Now I would like to call up representatives from the Massachusetts Office of Immigrants and Refugees.
It is a sad morning when our communities continue to be threatened and taken in an indiscriminate way and harming not only their families, but absolutely every single one of us. My name is Cristina Aguilera. I'm the Executive Director of the Office for Refugees and Immigrants, and I'm joined by my colleagues Ronnie Miller and Gladys Ortiz. And we're here because we stand in solidarity with all of you. We stand in solidarity with Hernan and the many, many people that continue to be afraid because of this absolutely endangering and horrible acts that are not making our communities any safer. I'm here with a statement from Governor Healy, and I wanted to share it with all of you. The governor stands in solidarity with all of you. The governor stands in solidarity with Hernan and your family, and as well as the Lieutenant Governor Driscoll. Edgar is a husband and construction worker. He's not a threat to our communities. He's a part of our communities. These arrests and these tactics by ICE do not improve public safety. They undermine it. Because of ICE actions, people are afraid to send their kids to school, to go to work, to seek healthcare, to report crimes. None of this makes us safer. And I urge the Trump administration to change its course now. Governor Maura Healey. Thank you.
I'd now like to introduce Liz Matos, Civil Rights Office Chief for the Office of the Attorney General.
Thank you, Margo, and everyone who worked hard to organize this event today. This is incredibly important. My name is Liz Matos. I'm Chief of the Civil Rights Division of the Massachusetts Attorney General's Office, and I'm here representing our Attorney General, Andrea Joy Campbell. I'm here to say that we are appalled at the unnecessary, dehumanizing, and traumatizing way that people are being arrested across the Commonwealth. What happened to Hernan should not have happened. It's driving fear into our communities, traumatizing children, separating families. And I want to underscore the point that was just made by the statement of the governor that this does nothing to enhance public safety. It undermines public safety and it weakens public safety for each and every one of us. We stand firm with you in calling for the release of Hernan and for all others who are detained like him. I also want to say that no human being deserves to be treated this way,
That's right.
regardless of your history.
No human is evil.
And I deeply appreciate the opportunity to be here with you all today and to feel, as was said by the Reverend, the minister, all the love and power, true power that we feel here today. And we need to hold on to this as we continue to fight and until we see Hernan and others like him walk free. Thank you.
I'd now like to welcome Malden City Councilors Carrie McDonald and Stephen Winslow.
Thank you so much. I'm Malden City Councilor Carrie McDonald, and I am here to read a statement with my colleague that Malden's elected leaders signed last week. I want to be clear, when we heard about what happened with Hernan, our elected leaders for this community did not hesitate to call for justice in this case.
Thank you. I'm Councilor Winslow. Leslie and Hernan live in the ward that I represent. And I have to say that my constituents immediately responded. I was often folks from our dog park. I know Hernan and Leslie, and they were people who were contacting me, just regular folks, very concerned. And we all stand with Hernan, and this is the public statement from elected officials who have heard so clearly from our community about this. As elected officials representing Malden, Massachusetts, we call for the immediate release of Edgar Herman Elias Escobar from immigrant detention. Known as Hernan, he has been a beloved Malden resident for a decade. Hernan works as a roofer in the greater Boston area, helps care for his aging mother. He and his wife were recently married. He is a contributing member of the community, and his detention is unnecessary for any immigration proceeding. There's no reason he should have been targeted. Hernan was injured by immigrations in ICE and customs enforcement agents when they arrested him in a shocking manner early Wednesday morning, September 16, 2025, on his way to work. Based on witness accounts, we learned that agents sideswiped his truck on a Malden residential street, not too far from where he lives, and approached him with covered faces and no identification. They smashed his window and reached into his vehicle despite no reports that Hernan acted violently during this encounter. And during this, he was trying to reach out to his wife, Leslie, because he was afraid. I mean, I think that just, I think anybody who was pulled over in that way, I think you would be taught to try to call for help rather than just responding in that way. So, but Carrie, great.
We call on agents in our community to show visual identification and to cease the use of these violent tactics. This is essential to allow residents to distinguish between agents and a criminal seeking to assault them. Finally, we call for an end to the recent immigration enforcement surge in Malden and surrounding communities in the past few weeks. Reports of capricious immigration actions in public spaces have increased roughly tenfold. This escalation of actions, which federal officials publicly claim is politically motivated, is making our safe community far less safe, as you have heard today. The most harmful of these actions are the ones which use the type of aggressive force that Hernan experienced and which tear our families apart. There is no justification for these actions in our community which seem only designed to sow fear.
That's right.
Malden has long been a community that welcomes immigrants, offering employment and educational opportunities and working with our diverse population to be a safe and thriving community, to live and raise a family. We call on our federal government to do as we do in Malden, to respect the basic human dignity of all those who live and visit here. Signed, respectfully, U.S. Representative Catherine Clark, State Senator Jason Lewis, State Representatives Steve Altrino, Paul Donato, and Kate Lippert-Garabedian, Mayor Gary Christensen, Amanda Linehan, City Council President, who is also present today, myself, Councilor Winslow, Councilor Karen Colon-Hayes, Peg Crow, Ryan O'Malley, and Ari Taylor, and Chris Simonelli, and school committee members Don Macklin and Keith Bernard. We call for Hernan's release and justice in this case, and an end to these actions that are scaring and terrifying our community. Thank you.
Not today.
And next, I'm going to introduce State Senator Jason Lewis, who will have a comment on behalf of our state delegation.
Good morning. I'm State Senator Jason Lewis. I'm speaking this morning on behalf of myself, Representative Paul Donato, Representative Kate Lippert-Garabedian, and Representative Steve Altrino. Together, we are the state legislative delegation for the city of Malden. Leslie, where's Leslie? Leslie, we stand with you. Bring Hernan home now.
Bring Hernan home now! 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 Bring Hernan home now!
I'm a proud immigrant to this country. I came to the United States when I was 12 years old. I love the United States of America. This is a place that has welcomed people from all over the world for centuries. It's a place that creates opportunity for everyone, opportunities that are not available to people in most other parts of the world. It's a country that respects human rights and the dignity of every single person. It's a country that respects the rule of law. What is happening right now in the community of Malden, across Massachusetts, in this country, is un-American. What happened to Hernan? He's on his way to work. He's following the law. He's contributing to his community. He's a loving husband, friend, neighbor, being rammed off the road by masked federal agents. That's what happens in Putin's Russia. That's what happens in Kim Jong-un's North Korea. That doesn't happen in Malden, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in the United States of America. That's not the country that my family emigrated to. That's not the country I love. That's not the country we all love, is it? No! This has to stop. Yes. Bring Hernan home now and stop assaulting our communities. Thank you. Now we will hear some words on behalf of Malden's federal delegation. I believe we will hear from Congresswoman Clark's office and also Senator Markey's office, and Senator Warren is also with us today. Thank you. With us in spirit today. Yes.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Kelsey Perkins. I'm Congresswoman Clark's district director here in Malden. And Leslie, the Congresswoman, wishes she could be here to stand with you, but she asked me to share the following statement on her behalf. Thank you all for turning out and speaking out for the peace, the justice, and the dignity that the people of Malden deserve. Let's be clear about what happened on Wednesday. Herman Escobar was on his way to work when ICE agents sideswiped his car, shattered his window, put a weapon in his face, and refused to identify themselves. I am disgusted that this systematic terror has made its way into our community. We will not be quiet. We will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced, and we will get answers, and we will get justice.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Liam Horseman. I'm with Senator Ed Markey's office. The senator wishes that he could be here and is grateful for everyone being here, and he's here in spirit, especially standing with you. Thank you all. I'm going to read here a statement from the senator, which is as follows. Good morning. Thank you for being here today to support Hernan. I join you to call on ICE to release Hernan as his immigration case proceeds. What we witnessed from his arrest is a troubling and alarming pattern from ICE. Masked agents in an unmarked car dangerously cut him off as he was on his way to work. The agents then proceeded to break his car window and threaten him with a stun gun. Hernan is a husband, beloved by his family and friends. He was not a threat to the ICE agents on the day he was detained, and he is not a threat now. I demand transparency and accountability as ICE's tactics increasingly appear designed to sow fear in our community. This is why I am a co-sponsor of the Visible Act, which will require all immigration enforcement officers to display visible identification during public-facing immigration enforcement actions to promote transparency and accountability. In Malden, In Malden, we welcome those who seek to be a part of our community regardless of their country of origin. Hernan is a member of this community and he belongs here. I call on ICE to release him without further delay. It is the right thing to do. I will continue to stand with you in solidarity as we fight for Hernan and all immigrants in our city. Thank you.
I'd now like to welcome Maggie Moran, Managing Attorney of the Immigration Unit of Greater Boston Legal Services, and Hernan's attorney.
Thank you. I stand here today not only as one of Hernan's attorneys, and he has a whole team working for him right now, but as someone deeply troubled by what happened to our client and what is happening across our community. Hernan is a man who has lived in this country for years. He is married to his loving wife, Leslie, also an attorney who devotes her own career towards achieving justice. Hernan was a caretaker to Leslie's grandmother and his own mother. He is a man who works hard, a man deeply rooted in his family and in his community. Hernan is already in the process of seeking legal status through the channels that the law provides. He's doing everything asked of him. And yet, instead of respecting that process, masked agents who refused to show identification tore him from his car, breaking the window, cutting his arm, and leaving his family shattered. They did this with no warning, no due process, no compassion, just force. This is not law enforcement, this is abuse of power, and it's not an isolated case. This is happening to people across the country, people ripped from their families, taken without warning from our communities. Many have already applied for immigration relief. They're trying to follow the rules as best they can. But now the message is that no one is safe from being violently seized, being detained in inhumane conditions away from their families and communities. Many are being denied the opportunity for bond and are having their due process rights eroded or eliminated altogether. When ICE acts this way, they don't just harm one man. They devastate his wife, they burden his mother, they traumatize an entire community. They punish families for daring to exist in this country. Being a loving husband and son, a hard worker, a steadfast contributor to the Malden and Massachusetts communities, these are all strengths that we want in our community members. What ICE did, violating due process, resorting to a violent seizure, that is a betrayal of the Constitution and of the values this country is supposed to stand for. We are here to say enough. We demand his release. We demand an end to violent enforcement that tears families apart and erodes the rights of all of us. Because if this can be done in silence, it will keep being done. We are not silent. We are watching, we are standing together, and we are calling for justice. Thank you.
I'd now like to introduce Heitor Suarez, son of Leonardo, who is currently in ICE detention. Woo!
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you to Luce and to the family of Sorry. My name is Heitor Suarez. My name is Heitor Suarez, and my dad was taken from my family on June 9th, and after 2 months, he was deported to Brazil. He stopped minutes after dropping off my brothers at Fairway School. He did the same for me when I was growing up, and he's 4,000 miles away now. Even though my dad was placed in a closer detention facility at first, his living conditions were just as abusive. The staff in the detention center my father was in was refusing to talk to detainees. They keep them in the same clothes they were detained in during their stay, which for my dad was a t-shirt, a pair of pants, and sandals. Thanks to the money we were able to raise together, I was able to send my dad some money in the facility to use for texting and for commissary. However, most of the people being held don't have the same privileges. Although this issue greatly affects families and also targets people with nobody to talk to and nowhere to turn. At the time, when I had my first phone call with my dad, he told me the day prior at least 2 people had tried to commit suicide because of the terrible living conditions that they were being forced to endure. The way these human beings are being treated goes beyond cruel and inhumane. My dad, like most immigrants, came to this country because he had love for America and the promise of a dream for him and our family. My dad wanted his own food business, and for a while he did. He wanted to make a difference in this country by bettering people's lives through his passion. He would work hard to learn English by taking classes and constantly asking questions on correct pronunciation. Like Hernan, who cared for his mother and helped his neighbors move, my father was also dedicated to making his community better and safer for everyone. His English was so good, in fact, that he would teach English to other detainees in Rhode Island when he was there. And all around, he would translate documents for others. In a country built by immigrants, it is no longer worth for them to live here. ICE is robbing Massachusetts residents, like my dad, of the ability to watch their children grow.
That's right.
My dad and I both agreed that we want to bring attention to the bigger picture at hand. ICE is affecting hundreds of families in Malden and across America as we speak. My father was not the first person in Malden to be kidnapped. He wasn't even the first person to be taken near a school. And I knew he wouldn't be the last. ICE will stop at nothing until they endanger all of our families and our freedoms, which is why it is important now, more than ever, that you make sure families in your area are safe. You must stay informed of your rights and keep your head up. ICE also tries to make it impossible for immigrants to talk to their families. Their strategy is to scare families into submission by draining them of their money and sending their detained family members to different detention centers across the country until they can deport them. But we know we are more united than any ICE official would have us believe. I hope today reminds everyone that the only way we will be strong is if we're together. Please, get involved in your community. Volunteer. Help your neighbor. Be kind to a stranger for no reason. We need to come together and stand up to ICE and protect one another. Keep your loved ones close to you. You never know when it will be your last time with them. Thank you. Free Hernan! Free Hernan! Free Hernan! Free Hernan! Free Hernan! Free Hernan!
Free Hernan! Free Hernan!
Free them all! Free them all! Free them all! Free them all!
Free them all! Free them all!
Thank you.
Before I make this next introduction, we'd like to thank LUCE, the Immigrant Justice Network of Massachusetts, for all the amazing and incredible grassroots work they do to support families like Leslie and Hernan's all throughout Massachusetts. Without the work of LUCE, this event today would not have been possible. Now we'd like to welcome Shayna from LUCE, member of the Everett and Malden Hub.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to tell you a little bit about what LUCE is, for those of you who don't know. LUCE is a coalition of immigrant-led grassroots organizations who build people power for everyone across Massachusetts. Grounded in justice and equity, we have a deep commitment to keeping all our communities safe through grassroots organizing, information sharing, and mutual aid. We're all just ordinary people in LUCE. We're just ordinary neighbors that live in Malden. I'm a Malden resident. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an elected official. Some of you might recognize me from our local mutual aid group, from other community organizations. Some of you might see me at our lion dance performances in Malden. I teach elementary school. I'm just a regular person. And with LUCE, I work with other neighbors here in Malden and Everett to keep our community safe. While those in power use ICE to tear families apart, deploy active duty US military forces into our communities, and prepare to gut the healthcare we rely on to fund terror, we are keeping each other safe and making our voices heard. Armed and out of control federal agents have descended upon our communities and work sites in Massachusetts, creating chaos instilling fear, and disrupting our way of life. In the last 2 weeks, we've received over 100 calls to the hotline. We have a hotline that we run per day across the state. I know this because I volunteer for the hotline. I want to share a story from answering the hotline one time. This past May, during our last surge, I was shocked to receive a tearful call about an abduction just a few houses down from my own. Here in Malden, I felt my stomach drop. I actually put my phone down, I left my shift, and I ran out to verify it myself. I was too late. All that was left was an empty work van. That resident of Malden, just gone from our community, just like that. We've all heard about how much Hernan is a beloved community member and caregiver. His disappearance and Leonardo's disappearance leaves gaps in their families' lives. I can't imagine the pain that Leslie, Heitor, their family and loved ones are experiencing. It is our duty as their neighbors here in Malden and in Massachusetts to protest human rights abuses, whether that means cuts to our health care to fund terror or deporting our neighbors and loved ones. We need policies that honor the dignity of workers and caregivers, not ones that rip them away from the families who need them. The Trump administration and allied politicians hope to turn us against each other by targeting immigrants and using the US military on its own people. But we see the humanity in each other, and we know that attempts to disappear the people who live here and to silence us are meant to endanger us. An attack on Hernan is an attack on all of us. We won't stand for this. We know that together, we're stronger. We need all of you, us, our neighbors, co-workers, and friends, are speaking out against the separation of families and the dehumanization of the people who keep our country running, from day laborers to care workers. We are responsible for our family members, friends, neighbors, and the children and workers who live in our communities. Future generations, like my students, are counting on us to make this place one where we can all live with the promise of freedom and justice. We believe that we all deserve to live without the fear of being kidnapped from our workplaces or homes. We believe that caring relationships is how we build communities. We believe in looking out for each other, and we believe we are only as safe as our neighbors. We will protect our communities together. Who's with me?
Free them all! 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 Free them all!
Now we'd like to give a warm welcome to a member of Hernan and Leslie's family, Frank Pinto.
Leslie, my cousin, I've known forever. Hernan, I met during a life transition. From high-powered engineering, creating the financial technology that makes this state an economic powerhouse, to consulting for educational nonprofits that make this state an educational powerhouse. I wanted to say I couldn't do what I do without Hernan doing what he does. Since the moment I met Hernan, he has proven to be what every American parent wishes their child grew up to be. He's respectful and considerate, helping out around his home with the upkeep and doing all the cooking.
Yes, hey!
Helping me out one time when I needed help or I needed a second opinion on a roofing project. He's resilient, adapting to his ever-changing situation in this country. He loves Leslie and their dog Albert steadfastly. He's a good New Englander. He's reserved, doesn't intrude on your life. But if you ever need anything, he'll be the first one there to help. He handles his responsibilities, takes care of his family, and believes in always improving and making a better life for yourself and your loved ones. He takes his work, construction and roofing, seriously, and will tell you when something isn't necessary. He makes our trades community better, more clear, more honest. Hernan, married to Leslie, a U.S. citizen, was in the process of clearing the bureaucratic hurdle that any man in his position has to go through. It's a procedure that has been done countless times by immigrants that have found love, peace, and stability with an American in this country. I lived in Central America during the bad years. I understand why Hernan and his family left. Fleeing a gang that violently kept people under its thumb. I understand the tremendous asset that a hardworking man looking for safety like Hernan is. I understand it because my father lived it. We came over during the Salvadorian Civil War. Fleeing a country that was having shootouts with the left guerrilla group FMLN in our hometown. They had no respect for people's safety, so much so that the state abducted children into the state military to fight the left group FMLN. One of the children that was abducted into the military is now a pizza shop owner in Cambridge. Saludos, Don Ricky. Hernan fled a country that at the time allowed the human rights of its citizens to be violated daily by the MS-13, taking their money and their lives. He fled and finally found a home with you here in Malden, only to have it ripped away again. I believe that if Hernan doesn't get to come home, it has little to do with the rights or whether he deserves to be an American, and more to do with the U.S. deciding who it likes.
Yes.
The truth is the U.S. has broken its contract with the world. At the base of the Statue of Liberty, dated 1883, it says, "Give me your tired, your hungry, your poor." It says, "Give me your homeless, the tempest tossed." We came here, not Mexico, not Spain, because of that promise. We came here because our original home did not want our talents. I have to ask the American people that are tuning in, that sees a Salvadorian immigrant like myself achieve the highest level in entrepreneurship, in a working class immigrant like Hernan that has kept his nose down and been successful, why don't you want our talents either?
Hands off the working class!
The truth is, the U.S. is renegotiating. Let's all pray that we haven't fallen so far as a country. So far that we end up making such life-changing decisions based on the personal preferences of a few. Let's pray that we remain the strong country that upholds separation of powers and each of our inalienable rights. Let's pray that it will continue to believe that everybody deserves the pursuit of happiness and that the U.S. is a worthy place to fulfill this ambition. Thank you, everybody, for being here and providing evidence that some of us still believe it.
Finally, we'd like to welcome Reverend Otto O'Connor from the First Parish in Malden, who will lead us all in a closing prayer.
If you'll join me now in a moment of prayer. Spirit of life, force of the universe, who some call God, hear this prayer. We are angry. We are outraged. We are heartbroken, but we will not be deterred. We have seen what has happened here in Malden to Hernan and Leslie and those like them. These removals, these violent seizures of people cannot continue. ICE must be removed from our communities. We know that immigrants make our communities stronger. They are the fabric of our communities, and all of us deserve to live without fear that we or our family members will be taken away in such a violent manner. We cannot let this continue. God of love and justice, we cannot let this continue. All of us here surround Hernan and Leslie with love. We know that as a community, we will not stop working for justice. We will not stop fighting until Hernan is released and all of those who are subject to this unjust, cruel treatment are no longer subject to it anymore. So give us the strength to continue to show up for each other, to be in solidarity with each other, and to move forward together in this community of love and support. Amen. Go forth in love and justice, and let the work never stop.